What's going on, guys? So let me apologize in advance for sitting down for this review. I usually do the stand-up stuff for reviews, but I'm gonna be kind of pressed for time in the morning, so I don't want to not get this video out on time. So I'm having to resort to filming this the night before I usually do, so I can't really jump around and wake people up because, well, I don't want to be rude. But also, this episode of Gotham was kind of not great. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but there were some cool moments in it, but to really be honest, it wasn't that great of an episode, and it kind of sucked. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but I felt that there were parts in this episode that were directed very poorly and acted or written very badly. And I just have to say, that opening scene, which you would think would be cool because it's, you know, Ra's al Ghul's origin and we're finding out where he came from, all of that jazz, how old he is. And then it was just so bad, like where he comes out of the water and he's all like, I am dead, or I was dead, or whatever, and like, I am here. And then it was just like, just go back and watch that scene and his face is all like, oh, hey, like it's just, it was, I don't know what the director was thinking there, and like, why didn't, I would have made, you know, I forget the actor's name, but the actor that's playing Ra's, I would have had him do it over. I was like, that does not seem natural. Like, I know you're trying to do this whole, like, I just came back to life thing, but you're overdoing it a little bit. And the dialogue there was really bad. And like, I don't know, it was just a very terrible opening in my opinion. And the opening itself was just to set up basically what this whole episode was going to be about, and that was the bidding or the stealing or trying to steal of this like ceremonious sacred blade of Ra's al Ghul's master, or who he got from his master, and now he needs this blade back. For, I want to know, what reason did he lose this blade? Like, why doesn't he have this blade? Why didn't he keep it? And why, if it was so important, why the fuck don't you got it, bro? Moving on from that, we saw the whole little, like, you know, dock scene, because everything happens at the docks in Gotham, where Selina is going to try to steal this blade, and Bruce thinks, he doesn't know it's Selina. He never knew it was Selina, but he goes and he tries to save this thief that is about to get ambushed by these other people, or is going to fall into a trap. And he's actually the one that sets them off, because it looks like Selina would have been able to steal that without Bruce interfering, but, you know, he wanted to save this person's life, or he wanted to see what they were stealing or whatever, and he ends up getting caught and having to, you know, fight off of 4 dudes, almost getting Selina shot in the process, because I thought he was maybe going to be saving her because he knew it was her, but no, he didn't know it was her at all. And then as he's trying to block the guns, they're shooting the truck. Like, so Selina could have easily got shot up, and this causes her to fail her mission and make her look bad in the eyes of Barbara. Since we just talked about Ra's and Barbara, let's just get it out of the way now, because that ending was totally unnecessary, and like, they don't need to be a thing. Like, just because he brought her back, Barbara doesn't need to freaking jump Ra's bones. Like, it's just like, oh my god, like, I'm all for like romance and people hooking up in these shows, but it doesn't need to be everybody. And like, it doesn't, especially the people that have been brought back to death. Like, I mean, from death. And it's just like, I didn't get it. I was just like, I saw that and I was like, wow, that is completely unnecessary. I think when I look at it, I don't think Ra's has really had relationships that I know about in the comic books. Like, they're never really ever, you know, portrayed or in the forefront, anything like that. He's kissed Batman before. Yeah, if that's something you didn't know, he's totally kissed Batman. Moving on though, yeah, so that whole relationship between Ra's and Barbara is just, it just feels totally out of place. I don't want it. I don't know if anybody wants that. I was just kind of hoping she was going to be a badass, but now she's in love with Ra's, or I don't know what's going on there, and I don't really care to see where that goes. But it looks like we're going to get a lot of it, maybe. Moving from that romance to another one that is possibly starting is the Falcone. Is Gordon going to see Falcone? And this was, you know, a cool scene that also got me mad. The theme of this video, just to let you know, was there was a lot of things in this episode that bothered the hell out of me. And this one in particular was Gordon just being able to arrive to Falcone's and the butler just letting him in on the property. Like, you know, Falcone is a mob boss anybody could be coming in to try to kill him. And why would the butler, I'm pretty sure the butler knows, why would he just let Gordon walk in to Falcone's compound and like, oh yeah, you killed his son, you were in love with his son's fiance, yeah, let me totally just walk you in, let's go talk to Falcone. Like, that was kind of, I wish there would have been a little bit more resistance. Like, maybe they had to go get Falcone to bring him, and or like at least call him or something, you know, and let him know like Jim Gordon's here to see you, and then they bring him in. But no, the butler was just like, follow me. Like, what? On top of that weirdness, Gordon just walks up to Falcone. He's all like, Carmine, and Falcone's just kind of looking at him. He's like, we're far from home, Jim, and blah blah blah. And they're kind of just like, they're doing small talk, and Falcone calls him out on it. And he's all like, I think we're way past, you know, the small talk. Let me know why you're here. That's when Falcone's, you know, attractive daughter, I'm going to say it, comes into the fold. And she's all like, oh, who's this? And then, you know, she knows that it's James Gordon after, you know, Falcone tells her that. And he's like, what are you doing here, James? And they kind of have small talk. Why is Falcone fucking cool with Gordon all of a sudden? Like, even at the end of season 3, they seemed kind of like, they were still at ends, you know. He was like, look, I know you don't like me, blah, 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 but I need to do whatever, whatever. Like, we know that that was going on, but Falcone never really liked Gordon at all. And, like, it just, they didn't become buds at the end. Like, he wasn't like, I respect you, blah, blah, blah. And maybe, you know, Falcone was, maybe he let it, you know, we found out that Falcone's dying, so maybe he's a little bit more chill now. He's like, you know what, you know, I'm gonna die. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to enjoy my time. So he doesn't want to get stressed out. He doesn't want to deal with anything like that anymore. Maybe he still respects Gordon a little bit. I don't really know, but I didn't like how it was so chill that they're like, oh yeah, you know, you can come ask me a favor, Gordon. Like, no, that's not how it should work. Falcone would be like, you can't come in here and ask me a favor, especially after you killed my son. Like, I wish there was a little bit more resistance there. I don't know. I don't know if they're using the dying thing to make them be cool. They're like, oh yeah, I'm dying, so we're buds. We're buds. Since Falcone's dying, he can't help out bring Gotham back to the city. His daughter wants to. He's all like, you're not ready for that. And then the rest of the episode is Gordon drinking on the beach, talking to his daughter. They're walking on the beach. They're having this little like, oh man, did you ever think about leaving Gotham? Blah, blah, blah. She takes his coat and his shoes. They go walk in the water. They have a little kiss. Blah, blah, blah. She shows up later in the episode when he's back at the GCPD, and he's all like, what are you doing here? And she's all like, oh, well, I'm a Falcone, blah, blah, blah. I didn't need your permission to come here, blah, blah, blah. And now we're going to have this, like, he's going to kind of butt heads, but it's going to be like that sexual tension kind of stuff. Like, they like each other, but they're got to work together, but they don't want to work together, but they super want to... But, you know, it's going to be that whole kind of thing. Because, you know what, Gordon always has those kind of relationships, it seems. And, yeah, I don't know. I just think they could have handled that so much better. Even if they wanted to bring in some kind of romance with them, they could have handled it so much better. I think instead of Falcone's daughter coming in and being like, you know, Jim was like, oh, so you were playing me? And she was like, no, not all of it was that, blah, blah, blah. I would have nixed all of that. I would have had her shown up to the GCPD and, like, asked Gordon if he wanted to go to dinner or something like that. And Gordon would have been like, why are you here? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she could have just said, like, I'm here to tie up some loose ends for my father. He didn't want to come back. I'm here to do it. We got to tie up some, like, you know, what loose ends, as I said, since he's dying. He doesn't want to come back to Gotham. She's going to do it. And, like, that gives her a reason to be there instead of just coming out flat out. Like, not even, this episode wasn't even an hour. Like, they just met, and then now she's already like, oh, yeah, I was playing you. Like, you didn't need to reveal that hand right away. Like, you could have had her been there. Maybe she's like really, she should have been playing the long game, as that's been my favorite word in the last couple of videos. She should have played the long game and just still kept playing Gordon, because the reveal of her later actually betraying him would have been so much better. Like, she was playing him this whole time. She was using him to get the city back, for her to take over the city and her to be the new Falcone that runs Gotham. That would have been so much better. You could have had their romance building, and then at the end, like even the second half of the season, we find out that behind his back, she has been building an empire that he doesn't even know about, and she's been like just giving him info like, oh yeah, my connections or my father's connections say that Penguin has been doing this, he's been doing that. So she's giving him info that he would think, that Gordon would think she is getting from Falcone's connections when it's really her own connections. That would have been such a better reveal instead of just like, ooh, we're starting something. Ooh, I just played you. Blah, blah, blah. Sexual tension for the rest of the season. Like, no, we didn't need that. They could have developed her character and that relationship so much better. Moving on to another couple in this episode, and that was Riddler's secret admirer. That this was another thing that pissed me off. Not the secret admirer thing, but the getting Riddler out of the ice block with a blowtorch. Are you serious? She just used a regular little blowtorch to melt him out of this thing. How long was she there? Like, Ivy flipping the switch would have been a better way for Nigma to get out of that thing. Like, what? Gotham, are you serious? You literally had a blowtorch, a girl with a blowtorch, and nobody else works at this club. Like, is Penguin the only one that works there? He doesn't have, like, bar people, maids, somebody mopping or anything that would have noticed this girl actually using this blowtorch to get the freaking Riddler out of that. Like, that, there's no way that took just like 10 minutes or something like that. That must have been like a super industrial Batman made it himself kind of blowtorch to get Riddler out of there that fast. Like, that blew my mind. I was like, that's kind of dumb. And I know that, like they said when she started talking to Edward, that she was all like, I had to learn his schedule. So she probably knows like the amount of time she had to get him out of that ice block. But still, a freaking blowtorch. Like, if she would have came with the freaking gun that Firefly has, I'd believe that. But not this little blowtorch that's like this big. But to show a little bit of positivity about that whole little obsessive relationship that they had going on there, I liked her. Yeah, I'm going to throw that out there. I liked her character, and I thought this would have been a really good chance to introduce like a Riddler henchman or henchwoman in this instant, and it could have been Echo or Query or whatever her name is, and it could have been one of them. That lady, that girl right there could have been the character, and I just liked her personality. It was weird, it was bubbly, like, yeah, she could probably seem like she would get annoying after a while, but I liked the personality, and she was just trying to help Riddler, and I think he could have been like one of those, like I said, the henchwomen or whatever, kind of like a Harley Quinn, where he could have just pushed her around and she would have been helping him, but at the same time, like, you would have had this weird, like, kind of like loving, kind of hating relationship between them that we're not going to get from Jerome or a Harley Quinn. We could have got it with a Riddler and, you know, this obsessed Riddlerette, as she was calling herself. And she even made a dress and stuff. Like, I just really enjoyed her personality. I enjoyed her so much that when she got shot at the end, I felt bad. Like, even like when oh my god, when Zaz asked her, he's like, that's a lovely dress. She's like, thank you, like, I made it. Like, I felt so bad because then she gets capped, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, I felt like they could have actually expanded that character and the relationship with Riddler. Like, I think he would have needed somebody, since he's losing his mind and his brain doesn't work as well because he's been like he's been on ice for 5 months. So, I don't know. I thought that would have been cool. I thought she would have been a nice little accessory to him for at least this season. But no, they ended that this episode. But with Riddler's brain all messed up, it makes kind of sense that he's going to be able to hang out with Grundy and possibly, you know, Lee Tompkins later. Because maybe, since Grundy's not going to have any memories, maybe, and, you know, Riddler's going to need, you know, freaking help getting his mind back, maybe Lee's going to be the person to help them somehow. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not the kind of doctor she is. Well, I mean, no, she's not, but she did try to do, like, she did try to do therapy, or she tried to be a therapist for Bruce that one time. So we don't know her full, you know, doctoral skills. But yeah, maybe that's how they're going to build that little weird relationship that they're supposed to have. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think's going to happen. But I think Riddler's brain not working to full capacity is how him and Grundy are going to get along. Side note, when freaking Riddler said, you know, the whole deformed baby line, I lost it. Like, that was so hilarious about his deformed baby. Next. Like, it was just so ridiculously, and I thought it was delivered so well. Like, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the episode. Moving on from that, let's talk about everything that Bruce did in this episode. Like I said, we saw him almost get Selena killed from him deflecting the gun all up in her face. And then we saw him try to do a very Batman type thing, and that is learn different disguises. But at the same time, in this scene where he's pretending to be this guy looking for his, this young kid looking for his uncle, it just pisses me off that people don't know what Bruce Wayne looks like in Gotham. Like, are you serious? This is a billionaire child. Like, there are a lot of billionaires that I don't like, but I know what their freaking face looks like, you know what I mean? Like, and it blows my mind that people don't know what Bruce Wayne looks like. I mean, this kid is polarizing. Like, his parents were murdered in an alley. I'm pretty sure he would have been on news coverage for the whole week or whatever, especially if the Wayne family just owns Gotham. Like, there's such this pillar of greatness in Gotham. How do you not know what Bruce Wayne looks like? It almost happened last week, but they had that one guy being like, this kid looks familiar, guys. That saved last week's episode. But this time, he's pretending to be somebody else. They don't change his face. He doesn't put on makeup. He doesn't do anything. And he's just changing his voice, which he did very well, by the way. He just changes his voice. And they're just all like, who are you, kid? Like, it just, I can't believe it. I cannot believe that somebody does not know what Bruce Wayne looks like. But we got to see bratty billionaire Bruce Wayne, which was kind of cool. I really like this when he goes to Penguin's auction and he's just bidding on everything, and he tells Alfred, he's like, I gotta bid on a lot of things because it doesn't make it so obvious that I'm only here for the knife. And all of that jazz. That was very smart of Bruce. Because Alfred's been teaching him everything, and now he just taught Alfred something. So I like that dynamic because that's how it is in the comic books. Alfred and Bruce are always teaching each other things. And like, I don't know. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know how you guys feel, but I am loving the Bruce and Penguin relationship. I love that Bruce is going to these, like, events, these dark things that he knows Penguin is part of the underground. He knows that he is the head of Gotham's crime organizations. But I love that they're building some kind of relationship because Bruce is putting on this Bruce Wayne face, and Penguin just thinks he's like, oh yeah, it's another billionaire kid that, he doesn't care if he's doing bad things, because a lot of people in Gotham with high, positions take advantage of everything. So, I don't know, I thought that's kind of cool. I'm really loving that dynamic, and I hope we get to see more of Penguin and Bruce interacting with each other in the future. After that whole thing, we know that Bruce paid $2 million for the knife. Penguin's all like, look, Barbara Keene is going to come after you for that, so I'd be careful with it. And he's expecting her when Selina shows up in a very Catwoman-like outfit. And I have to say, freaking Cameron, what's her last name? I forget her last name. But she is really playing that Catwoman character. Like, just go back and watch that scene where she walks in to try to steal the knife from Bruce. She has the Catwoman walk. And I'm just like, whoa, this girl is really getting in to the Catwoman character. She had the suit on. Like, if she was wearing a mask perfectly, I think, yeah, she would have been Catwoman hands down. I think she's doing that role very well, and I'm really excited to see her character grow more this season. But yeah, so she walks in, Bruce is just there sitting, very Bruce Wayne-like, very Batman-like in this thing. He's all like, what are you doing here, Selina? She's all like, what are you doing sitting in the dark? Which is a very Batman thing to do. And, we see that, and they have this conversation. She's like, yeah, so can you just give me the knife? Because, Barbara's never gonna treat me as an equal if I don't take this back to her. He's like, you don't need it. And he's all like, I just paid $2 million for it and pretty sure I should keep it. All that jazz. They have that little banter, and Bruce denies her, and he's like, you should probably leave. And she does. And I love that because that is very Batman and Catwoman. Like, Bruce, or Batman, he lets her slide on things. Like, he lets her escape. He lets her do this. But he always still does the right thing. Like, he keeps the diamonds. Like, he'll let her go away, but he takes whatever she steals, and he tries to, like, put her away. He's put her away a couple of times, but he's been very lenient with Selina, but he always stays that moral high ground. And like, if it's very important, he won't let it slide. And like, I just like that dynamic, and we are seeing that between the Bat and the Cat in this series. But the last thing I want to point out is with the whole Barbara not, seeing Selina as an equal, I think this actually might be the start of Selina and Ivy teaming up, because they're both being disrespected now, and they might start their own Gotham City Sirens, which would be the real Gotham City Sirens, although they won't have a Harley Quinn, unless we secretly get one at the end of the season. But yeah, it would be cool if they started their own Gotham City Sirens away from their mentors, who are supposed to be like Barbara and Tabitha, because, you know, they feel like they don't get respected and they feel like they can do things their way and make things better. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see what Ivy's going to do, because she probably feels like Selina's not on her side, although Selina did say she did believe in Ivy, or she believes Ivy that she hates Penguin. So we'll see what happens like that. But I'm calling that they are going to start their own Gotham City Sirens. But that's pretty much what I thought about this week's episode of Gotham, guys. I didn't really like too much about it. There's a lot of things that annoyed me just because I felt like they didn't make sense, or like they could have elaborated more on things, or it could have just been a better story overall. And I did just feel like there was some poor writing in this episode. But yeah, do let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. Don't forget, if you ever want to support this channel, you can check out the Patreon like these awesome people did, or you can check out the merch that is still up for a few days. Link in the description, or come hang out with us over on twitch.tv. Tonight, we will be streaming around 12 Central Standard Time. Come hang out with us. Or you can always do the OG thing and give this video a thumbs up and share with all of your Gotham buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time.